Good evening, everyone. That time of the afternoon, Spurs are finished. The dogs and cats can come out from underneath the furniture hiding. Well, you're not going to get a detailed breakdown of the match here, but Leon's with me today. Dave's obviously probably gone straight to bed. But Leon, before we start going through the goals and everything, oh my God, what an absolute cluster.
I looked at the team beforehand, and it was similar to the Chelsea away game and Frankfurt. I think, well, that team's half decent. We could get a result here. And then I remember who the manager is. Game kicks off. I was saying to you, I was in the middle of doing something. I thought, I better just watch this free kick. It's only a minute in, nothing will happen. And then they scored. It was just like, we're going to, 100%. 100%.
But Leon, Graham McNally, Ryan Mason on Friday. What on earth? How many Spurs fans actually believe? I mean, mitigating circumstance, mistakes today, players, awful mistakes. But who on earth seriously thinks we've got more of a chance with Ange than without him now? There can be nobody. I mean, like the first goal, then you come on to that, Leon, you said about that. Just terrible, terrible goalkeeping, weak defending, but just no organisation, is there? Just a cluster of people. It's just literally no organisation or anything about Spurs. But John,
shambles.
Leon, Mason give us a better chance, wouldn't he? Or just as good?
Come on, John. We're losing game after game under this guy. Our away record is appalling. Tactics are the same. The goals we concede are really similar. There's I put in our group, John. There's more chance of me beating you in a 10K with my hernia playing up than there is of Ange getting a result. And I'm being serious. We are not going to beat Frankfurt. There's no way. Almost putting anyone in that could provide some structure to the team and a bit of organisation, albeit in the space of a few days, gives us more of a chance. I don't understand why the manager's still here. It's like we're waiting for Thursday to happen. We get knocked out, and then he gets sacked. It's like, what was the point? What was the point in that?
Leon, like you said the first goal. I mean, you said a couple of minutes in, and loads of Spurs fans are watching that straight away, going, "Here we go," and they score it, and it's just like then. We have loads of possession, don't really create anything, don't really go anywhere. It's that type of football. It's just like the whole match today, even the goals we scored, really. Well, maybe not the header, but like the first one, it was all like stuff you'd see on a Sunday morning down the park, isn't it? But like me and you have been saying this for ages, haven't we? You know, for like people who don't watch this show usually, I think start the season, me and you were saying, look, we're not on this Ange train, and this whole squad looks vaguely. Well, I'm saying this looks a mid-table squad, and you were like, we're better than that. How wrong were we?
Yeah.
Well, I think the team was. When I looked at that team today, I think anybody who organises that and a bit of structure and coaches a bit of a certain style of play into those players, you see a better team. But once again, like Solanke's come under fire. I know you're not a massive Solanke fan, but he's receiving the ball. He's just receiving it in all the wrong areas.
Yeah, he's not. He isn't getting many chances made for him. I don't think. He's a typical kind of big money signing for us, isn't he? So the fee by itself is fairly substantial, but the wages he's getting paid don't correlate with the fee. So we've got a big signing, but he isn't a big signing. He's not really a £65 million signing, is he? He's not a top quality striker. I'm not a big fan of his, but I also think bar players like Basuma, who has put in about 8 good games in 2-3 years, it's hard really to judge too many of them under this manager because they're clearly not being coached properly.
I think it's everything. I think it's everything, Nigel. Now I think we've let it go so far. I think even if he hasn't lost the dressing room, I just think there's like a sort of an like from like the fans. It's just an air of inevitability about everything, isn't there, Leon? I mean, I always thought, fuck me, if we win this, great, but he'll keep his job. But I can't even see a way if they win that cup. I think he might walk. I think he might
We're
walk.
not.
And I think the board are now looking at that. I've got to say, the risk of keeping him is far greater than the risk of sacking him after he's won a trophy.
We're not going to win. We're not going to win that trophy. We're going to get absolutely done on Thursday.
You get where I'm.
And as we'll be in a relegation battle. We'll be in a relegation battle next year if he stays. If he hasn't, he must have lost the dressing room, because as a player, if you've lost 20 games in the season, remember we lost 5 of the last 7 last season, so we didn't enter this season in great form. Our away record is atrocious. There's question marks over how some of the injuries have occurred with the hamstrings and his training methods, all of this kind of stuff. That's not a happy dressing room, is it? You don't you can't look at that manager and think this guy's going to get us to the final of the Europa League. He's going to get us up the table, because we keep losing games.
He looks a very, obviously, and it might be just by design, but to me now he just looks a lonely, lost figure on that touchline. Even when, I didn't go on Thursday, but we got that draw, and when the final whistle goes, there didn't even feel like there was anything there. Then it was all a bit flat, wasn't it? Everything. It's got a real end of days feel about it at Spurs.
I think he knows he's going. I mean, that's just an opinion, but he does. I don't think he helps himself, because he just kind of. It's all going wrong on the pitch, and he just stands there on the touchline. You don't really see him, pointing at players or shouting, or occasionally, he loses his temper. But he's not he doesn't seem to be motivating them from the sideline. He doesn't seem to be tactically changing anything or talking to the players. He just kind of stands there and then kind of bemoans when a goal goes in.
Yeah,
it's your tactics that are doing this.
Yeah, and when you look at it, Leon, it's just like every team. I mean, Southampton were awful.
Terrible.
I think Southampton could have saved his job twice this season, because I think when we beat them at their place, I think if we'd have lost that game, he would have been in serious trouble then. But at one point, I always used to say, Ange always gets a result. At some point, he picks up a result just to ease the pressure a little bit. And like Ten Hag did, was very similar. But I mean,
he's not even getting that now, is he? Really?
He's not even getting that now, is he? I mean, that that. I thought we were good Thursday, but it is like last chance saloon where everybody's thinking our season is fucked. If the players have to take ownership as well, and I think on Thursday night they did a bit, but now we don't create the chances. The swashbuckling football sort of is gone that we used to have. It's very, very patchy now, isn't it, Leon? But what was the second? Right, so the first goal was, then Vicario comes out, and at that point, when that Strand Larsen nearly scored, you're watching that, and we're messaging each other going, how's he missed that? But you're just like, what is going on? Where's these players' heads at?
It's another mix up, and then for the second goal, he's come out for the ball. I don't think he needed to come out for it, and then he's just kind of pushed it into Spence's chest.
And
it's gone in the back of the net, and then they'd have a chance afterwards, and it could have been free. It could have been free.
I mean, there's that video circulating at half-time, wasn't there, on the socials? Like Spence is playing left back, and somehow he's ended up at right wing, lost the ball, and I think those are the things now. And like, there's people in our group who have been. So we can't keep changing managers. We've got to try and stick with Ange. And I think they're now, everybody's sort of like, look, this. I mean, I don't know how true it was, Leon. I wasn't there. People probably in the chat on here probably weren't there. But the talk is that home and away fans were singing "You're getting sacked in the morning," weren't they?
They said that on Twitter. There was people at the. I mean, again, I wasn't there, but there's people at the game that were tweeting that both sets of fans are singing that. And obviously, the away fans have been quite rightly being really critical of Ange. We had the incident at Bournemouth where he's gone over, and a few of them are kind of giving it to him. The Chelsea game, I wasn't on that show after that, but where we've scored and he's waved at the fans and then cupped his ear, and obviously it's been disallowed. But just the arrogance. Even if that goal had been given, even if we were 3-1 up, 3-0 up at Stamford Bridge, we've lost 17, 18 games, whatever it is.
Oh,
But it's actually 20, isn't it? How can you do that as a manager?
I mean, Wolves we'll watch that game today in isolation, and you'll say Wolves looked a good team. But there's the bottom three who are arguably the worst bottom three that have been in the Premier League. Then there's Wolves. Then there's West Ham. Then there's us. We've got to play West Ham. We've got to go to West Ham.
We've got to go Liverpool as well.
Yeah, and Liverpool can win the league that day, can't they? Liverpool will win the league that day if they beat us. But mate, but you're looking at it. So it's 2-0. They come out second half, and you think, let's have a bit of a reaction. Fuck it. I mean, mate, this is. Do you know when you're just sitting there watching it? We got it back to 2-1, didn't we? Yeah, we got a bit of a goal from nowhere. Awful defending by them. So you're thinking now, right, tails up. We haven't been great, but we can get at these. 3-1 down. I mean, what? And that was Romero. The third one was Romero. Now, I've always stuck up for Romero because I do think he is a quality player. But my God,
I think he's a quality player when he's heads in it and he wants to play. If he doesn't feel motivated or he's disinterested, you get patchy performances, and that's what he's been like this season. I think, but even on that goal, that's obviously he's made a bad error. He's given the ball away. But we were saying that he's in the right back position. The right back's like out the pitch. Yeah. The player's running in. Davies is kind of in the middle, and there's no left back. So there's nothing, is there? There's nothing. There's no one tracking the player. I mean, I suppose they didn't expect him to lose it in that position, but there's no one even there to try and to save the mistake, is there?
And the guy who scored was free as a bird, wasn't he?
Mate, that's the thing. That's the thing. And I know, just to go back to it, you mentioned it, but the thing that really got me was when in that first half, I think we would have been two down. Spence's right wing, like high right,
and
he loses the ball. He's left back. They break, and Gray's right by him as well. So he loses the ball. They break, and there's no one covering that left back position. And as it was, a couple of their passes kind of went astray, so they didn't take advantage of it. But if he somehow ended up in the right wing position, where's the person covering his space? It was just wide open. But you see that time and time again under this manager.
And I think we've just got to be brutally honest now. We beat AZ at home, but we're awful away to them. AZ, bottom Premier League team, possibly a good championship team. Southampton, bad team. It's just not getting. And this is the thing. Whatever your opinions are on Ange now, and I think they're more turning to our way. He doesn't win enough football matches. Nowhere near enough. He loses. Well, let's put it. He loses too many football matches now, doesn't it, Leon? That's the point we're at. I think where it's even whether you like what he says or not, whether you think he should be given, whether you think he's been let down. It's just literally at the point where how is he still in a job?
This is what I don't understand. There has to be, because I'm no fan of Levy, and I've wanted him out since 2008. Yeah. But he does can managers for whatever reason, Jose, etc., Joel at halftime, all of this kind of stuff. He doesn't normally let poor results slide like this. The only thing I was trying to work out, there's only two reasons I can think of why he's still here. One, financial. If he loses his job while we're still in Europe, we pay him more money. I know it sounds
I'll get absolutely.
But there's that, and I think also, there's been some really good protest change for Tottenham, and people are starting to kind of come together to protest against Levy and the board, which is brilliant. But also, there was still pre the last run of games, some of the fan base that were behind Ange.
Yeah,
and Ange's got a shield to Levy. So if Levy had sacked him, then it's all on Levy. It's another failed manager. The manager is failed, but they're the only two reasons that I can logically think of, because he gets rid of managers.
The worm's turning, I think, now on that score. But we get ourselves back into the game. Corner, Richie, that's the positions he gets in. Get balls into the box. He's got half a chance. That's what he's good at. I know his fitness. You can't rely on him, but that's what he's good at. And you get back in the game. And then once again, and it's hard to come down on Bergwijn because he's been so good. But it's just like, what are these players' thoughts processes? What are they trying to do? I just watch teams now, more and more teams, and they are just and I don't know a lot about coaching and tactics. I've never really got into that thing. I can tell when something's good, something's bad, but you just watch it and you think, oh my, what are they doing? What are they doing on the train? What are they being told? That like Ange Ball has not been about for a long, long time. I think he learned Ange Ball was not going to work when Liverpool pulled our pants down at home, and I think since then, I think even he's known I'm sort of out of my depth here, because we used to get shit for saying things like he's tactically naive or tactically inept or and stuff like that, didn't we? But it's not even like you go, right, I'm going to start playing 3 at the back here because that's going to suit us. I've got wing backs, not full backs.
He did that against a really poor Everton side. I think we were 3-0 down at half time. But for that goal, Bergvall's tried to dribble it past their best player. He's lost the ball. He skipped past Davis, who if he brought him down would have been sent off.
Yeah.
And then that's it. That's it. Game over. And Bergvall's been one of our better players in the second half of the season.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's still good.
But it's like for the goal, he's making a run from deep, Leon. He's steaming up the pitch, and then we put that one goal, we put a cross in, and we get something from it. But that doesn't happen enough. It's all nothing. Passes going nowhere. But look, Nigel, with this team, do we need no? I think when you look at, I'm not going to say that we should have them, but when you look at Frank, when you look at Silva, when you look at Glasner, then let's just use those because they're names that have been mentioned. And I know you're not massive fans of all of them, Leon. But when they can attack, they attack and they can play good football. When they need to defend, they can set up and try and defend. You can't always do it, but they can get into some sort of formation and make a block and then sort of hit teams on the break should they need to, or play at a high tempo here, but today we're going to do this. That's the type of coach we need. I keep saying it. We need a coach that can make this team better than the sum of their parts, and this is just going nowhere now. That's a bad result today. I know they've been
making it worse.
Yeah.
Making it worse than the sum of its parts. There's no way, even with the injuries, that we should have lost some of the games we did lose. And now, and people saying, well, we've got injuries, we've got to wait for him to get his players back. He's got his players back. It's still shit. And we're giving the same types of goals away. It's just different personnel. It's mind blowing. I wonder if they'll sack him before. Having said what I've said about being in Europe, if they'll sack him before Thursday, because it's just inevitable. We're all just waiting to get done.
Say if the financials aren't like what you said about financials and contract stuff, you're the chairman or anybody involved in that board or who's got the ear of Levy, or if you sit on the board or whatever, and you know a little bit about football, and you're thinking, right, we've got one game. We've got one game now. We have got to go into that game all guns blazing. We need to be united. We need like a us against the world type. Which I suppose people will get it because they're against and somebody goes, look, we're getting rid of this guy in the summer, no matter what. He's not a tactical genius. He's not going to set us up to like win a game like a la Jose or say like a Conte or someone like that. Look, can we get a bounce? If we get rid of him, can we get a bounce? We just need to get through that game. Likelihood is we'll have a team that have done really well in Europa, but you'd like to fancy our chances against Bodo Glimt, wouldn't you? With some organisation and a little bit of sort of like a push in the right direction. Surely there's got to be someone at the club saying that. Like, for instance, I can imagine if Paratici was at Spurs, in my opinion, and I might be wrong, this is just me coming up with this stuff, but someone like that would be going, I think we need to, we need to move this bloke on. This is what we need to do. Can you not see what's happening here? That's not good.
That's under the pretense that I was going to say that's under the pretense that we've got a board that really truly care about what happens on the pitch, and history and experience shows that's just not the case. That just isn't the case with these owners.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally get that, Leon. But as I look at it as well, I think, right, the place we're in, we are starting from. We are going to be starting next year, like probably, like you said, could arguably say Spurs finished 17th last year. We're now looking for a new manager. Their remit is to get them back in European football, whether that's conference or
Yeah,
Europa.
just
That has got to be first and foremost. That is to get up there. That has got to be the first point. But if we win that Champions League, you I'm not saying it will happen because we know what the board are like, but then we got Champions League football. So the players and the coach you can attract are going to be give us a better give us a better chance. Also, Leon, the finances that you will get from hitting the Champions League. So if we are even looking at that, how can they be there going, we've got to do everything we can? And if that means getting rid of him tonight and getting someone in charge, either Mason or somebody temporary, just come in and give us a shot in the arm. That is what we've got to do because we have got 90 minutes of football to do that in a hostile environment, and we are going to need some steel and some belief and some passion, all of which wasn't really on show at Molineux today.
I think that's our only hope that it happens before Thursday. They look at the financial side of it and think this competition's winnable under
Yeah,
a sensible manager. We've got to get this guy out to give us a chance of getting the
yeah,
money at the Champions League because it is winnable. I think
yeah.
under someone else, it's winnable. You look at the sides that are left, like we no wonder we're one of the favourites. It's the manager that's holding us back.
I didn't think Frankfurt were any great shakes on Thursday. I thought they were well beatable. I thought we were unlucky. I think we were unlucky. We didn't put the chances away. So I believe we can go to Frankfurt and win. But I think we've got just as much chance with him or without him. But like John says, it's a futile conversation. It shouldn't be a futile conversation. It's fucking horrendous. The league, it is horrendous, Leon. I mean, I think it was on View from the Lane the other week. They said this could be the worst season in 90 years.
Yeah, they did say
Be
that.
our
Yeah,
worst
since the 1930s or
season.
something.
Yeah, but I mean, like, so we go about. We should talk. I mean, we've got to put, as much as we think the coach is an absolute walking disaster, you got to look at the players' mistakes as well. Today, haven't you? Vicario, shot stopping, he's been brilliant for us over since he's come back. But mate, just
even him over his over his career with us, didn't we let in? And it's not all on the keeper, but didn't we let in over 60 goals last season? Admittedly, under this manager,
yeah,
but he's prone to a mistake or two.
Yeah,
and he cost us a couple of goals. And Romero's been pretty poor this season. I remember at the start he was costing us goals, wasn't he? Just stupid mistakes.
He's just not switched on, is he?
Not focused. Probably not motivated.
So first two goals, Vicario, Romero. These are two of the guys who we class as our leadership team, aren't
group. They?
Yeah. Leadership group. Another massive thing that needs sorting at Spurs.
There's no leaders.
No.
Maddison, Son, Romero, and Vicario.
And I don't think, Leon, maybe Van der Ven back in the team just for pure pace, putting yourself around. But I don't think some of the other players who were rested today would have made a massive difference. Maybe the midfield. He always picks a midfield, too often picks a midfield, then has to change two of them at some point because it's not working, doesn't he?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, Basuma's got to go in the summer. He's only got a year left, I think, as well. We've got to get rid of him.
And Maddison, another player away from home. I know he was good at City that game, but he's one of those players, isn't he? At home, when you're playing well and you're on top of it, brilliant. Away, under the cosh like that, and it's difficult, and the fans are giving you stick, mate.
That's why he's at the level he's at.
Yeah,
over his career because he plays well 1 in 5, or when it's going well, he's a good player. But I was thinking this morning, like when we left White Hart Lane to move into a game-changing stadium, you look at that side that we had, and you look at the side that we've got now. Son in both, obviously.
Yeah,
we have downgraded in every single position. We had Ericsson, and Ericsson was fantastic. By that last 6 months, again, he didn't want to be here. but he was brilliant. You look at his assists, you look at his goals, types of goals, the late goals he would score, free kicks.
Yeah.
And now we got Maddison. Maddison's not a bad player. He's not a top
good.
player, is he? He's good.
He's just good, isn't he?
Yeah. When he wants to be, he's top quality, but he's one of them.
I mean, once again, Leon, before the game, me and you said that team should be. We should be going into this game expecting to lose. That team is good enough.
Yeah.
The players on that are good enough in that 11 to do so. I mean, I'm going to say slight positive for today. I thought Tao looked bright at parts. I thought he got into good positions, tried to pick players out, got a goal from a mistake, but he was there to do it. So positive for there.
They'll play Son Thursday, though, won't they?
Oh yeah, Son will come back in. Son, if Son had his leg amputated today, they'd have done something to get him on the pitch. But I think, that's why I think this Europa League game is massive, because I think there are some big issues which we'll probably come on to in the week shows regarding players that we need to move on from. Manager definitely needs to move on. And like some players, like you watch that and you think, would Son have fared any better today? Not the way he's playing, mate.
Not on the performances so far this season. He needs to go in the summer. But again, we're working under the pretext the board are ruthless and the right decisions when it comes to the team.
Yeah.
Son should have gone last summer, really. We should have got what we could for him and reinvested it into a proper player. We won't. And who knows whether he'll be next year. But they'll try, it would surprise me because of the financial side of keeping him. He's not there for reasons, is he? I mean, he's been an outstanding player. But again, we know Levy doesn't act properly when it comes to the players, does he?
No. Well, I mean, Leon, we can keep going on and on. We'll be going over old ground. We've pretty much done half hour. We've got a show Tuesday night. We'll have an instant reaction after the Frankfurt game. Final thoughts, mate. Obviously, terrible performance. There's no glossing over that. We may as well just ask the question. Do you think Andrew will get Thursday? I know John says it's futile, and I think we probably know what's going to happen. Obviously, we both think he should be sacked, don't we, before Thursday? But do you think that's going to happen?
Honestly, I'm 50-50 on it, to be honest. I think if you'd asked before the game, that's no way. That, we've kept him this long. We're going to keep him for Thursday. But watching what we've just watched, and throwing in all the other performances, there's a part of me that wouldn't be surprised if he goes.
Yeah,
if he goes, because we're not going to get anything Thursday with him. We're not going to get anything.
Well, like neither of us has seen the fallout, the interviews, and all that stuff. So we came on here, so we can go away and do that, and then we can obviously talk about it in the week. But obviously, we've had a few tune in to watch, Leon. We're trying to get these back up and going again, just to get some viewing and get some continuity. So thanks for everyone who's joined in. Thanks for everyone who's been in the chat. It's obviously Sunday afternoon. We've had to spend the afternoons shouting and bawling, watching that at home. But thanks for watching, and come on, you Spurs, Leon.
Come on, you Spurs.